How you all doing today? This is Faust Kellhound, and once again with family-friendly content about some games and some news I heard about. So today we are going to be talking about a game called Helldivers 2, which is actually a game that recently came out for PSN accounts and for Steam. It is a sci-fi third-person shooter where it is a group-based game only. There's no PvP, it's only you and a group of 4 people who are part of a sci-fi future and part of a team from Super Earth. Yes, where Earth decided to unite and be at complete peace with each other, and decided to explore the reaches of the galaxy, and they are constantly fighting cyborgs that rebelled against them and started their own little society where they're just constantly making more cyborgs, and then some bugs that are, best way I can describe them, they're called Tyranids, but they're just like the Tyranids from 40k. But anyways, continuing on. So, this game, recently, they came out with a very big patch. It is part of their... it is called Escalation of Freedom. So that was a new patch that they came out where they did a lot of bug fixes, added weapons, added stratagems, a whole bunch of different things. So with that patch coming out, they did a lot of stuff that really made the community mad. But before I tell you a little bit about the patch, let me tell you about the history of why this patch made people mad. Pretty much since the game has come out, every time they've brought out a patch of some sort, they have nerfed a weapon. So by nerfing weapons and nerfing items in the game constantly for a non-PvP or a non-esports game, is what that does is it creates a toxic meta by nerfing things. The reason why people chose a certain weapon or certain type is that it was reliable. Those weapons were not OP'd, they were just a reliable weapon of some sort that they could use in the game. So people went to that and used it, and the devs, Arrowhead, kept nerfing all the weapons that people were using constantly, and for some reason they are not buffing anything else. So instead of getting better things, they just kept giving the player base worse and worse things. And that creates a toxic meta by giving people worse and worse things. So the best way to create a non-meta situation or a non-toxic situation is that if people are using some good weapons, like some weapons in the game, the Breaker Incinerary and the Slugger. So those are 2 shotguns that they have that people use all the time, and they really like these weapons. So they nerfed them and made them worse. But to make a non-toxic meta is those weapons people are using. And then there's weapons that people are not using. What you do is you buff the weapons people are not using to make them better. And people will go to that because there's already 2 reliable weapons that people have. And then you make a 3rd reliable weapon and people will start using that. But no, Arrowhead just keeps nerfing everything, and recently I was reading an article, and they were talking about how Arrowhead loves to make the community mad because they enjoy it. They like making the community mad. So if any of you guys are playing the game, remember, they're doing this on purpose because they enjoy making you mad. And by them doing that, their player base has been slowly dropping. So the first issue with all of that was Sony came out and pretty much told everyone is like, hey, if you want to play this game anymore, you're going to need a PSN. That made a lot of people mad, and that made their first pretty much boycott of the game. So everyone downvoted the game and review bombed it. That's the word I'm looking for, review bombed. So that's what they were doing, and it started on Friday and lasted till that Monday, and that's when Sony pretty much put their hands up, apologized, and said, hey, you can play Helldivers without having the PSN account. So That stopped Sony from doing that. But that did have a lot of players leave for a longer time. And then with several patches that have been coming up through the game, it's been out for about 6 months, and all the patches just keep nerfing every weapon everyone likes to use and just making your main weapon uh, just not usable or worse because they want people to use stratagems. But the thing is, once again, is that they refuse to buff stratagems to make them viable where people want to use them on a constant basis. And especially with such long cooldowns between each use of the stratagem, people need to have a reliable main weapon or secondary weapon of some sort. And then with this newest patch, the Escalation of Freedom, one of the biggest things that they did was they nerfed a very reliable weapon that is an Incinerary Breaker. So this weapon has been nerfed multiple times, and then now they are nerfing it again. And that's just really making a lot of people leave and not a lot of people not play. So this game I used to play pretty much since it came out until about 2 months ago when they just didn't add anything new. They just kept having the same things happening over and over and never adding new real content. And like when you're playing the game, you are part of a team who is in a galactic war that you're trying to push the enemy back, and every time we push the enemy back successfully, they pretty much bring it back, and it's like, dude, like, can you at least let us win the galactic war before you bring the enemies back? At least have a few rounds or a few galactic wars before stuff. And how the galactic map is set up. So if you look at the galactic map now, that should be on screen, is that has enough room to have at least 4 other factions to join in there. And they refuse to add anything else. And that's one thing that really made me stop playing, is there's just no new content. But anyways, so that's one thing that I've really been noticing is with the review bombing currently right now, and then with Helldivers too, is that it was mostly positive. Currently now it is mixed, and there's just a lot of people who are constantly talking about this current patch with the Escalation of Freedom, how they just keep nerfing everything. They refuse to buff anything. It's a game that is literally meant to make the player feel powerful and have some fun, and they just nerf everything, make everything just not fun. And people keep asking to, like, hey, can you guys make the game fun? And they won't. And it's like, one of the things that a lot of people keep talking about is on the Steam reviews, on Reddit and whatnot, is how the devs refuse to listen to any of the community feedback, regardless of the devs keep saying is, hey, we want community feedback. And once the community gives them feedback, they literally do the opposite of what the community is asking for. The only time that they did not do the opposite of what the community was asking was when they were review bombing the game to literally oblivion. And then they're like, okay, we'll do what you guys ask. And then now they're doing the same thing. And I don't understand. It's like, dude, you are making a game that is a live service game and you want people to keep playing. Dude, you're making the game literally not fun. Why would people want to play a game that is not fun? Even people that play games like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, those games are fun. Yes, they are difficult and they are work, but they are fun. That is the major thing about those games, is they have fun regardless of the extra work and things you have to do. They have an element of fun. And me, I'm a big fan of Dark Souls and Elden Ring, so I do enjoy those games greatly and I do have fun with them. And Helldivers, yeah, dude, it's not fun anymore. That's why I stopped about 2 months ago. And then so many other people, they jump back onto the game because of the new big patch of the Escalation of Freedom. And people are playing it thinking they fixed a lot of the issues, but no. They're just doing their same old stuff, and they've broke the game too, that people keep talking about, is how many crashes that they constantly have and how they just can't go through a mission without the game at least crashing once or something like that. So until Arrowhead gets their head out of a hole in the ground, is I'm not going to be playing Helldivers, and I'm probably going to be talking a lot of smack about it and telling you guys is like, hey, this game is no fun. Don't play it. Don't spend your time on it, because they keep screwing up everything, and it's not, and they're doing it on purpose. Literally on purpose. It is not an accident. It's not that they messed up. They currently thoroughly enjoy you getting angry at the game. So yes, remember that. Arrowhead enjoys seeing you guys get mad at the game, so don't play Helldivers until they get their head out of a hole in the ground and learn a lesson and make the game fun. Alrighty then, guys. I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And remember, always love the Hellhound. You all take care now.